I've talked about before in previous videos how Sony and Microsoft are the absolute cheapest when it comes to giving you any amount of storage in their consoles. Even for the PS5 and Series X, which are likely to be $500 or more. Like, really? You can't give me more than a terabyte? Now, in order to fix this problem, back in 2017, I got a 4 terabyte hard drive and this little adapter to plug into my PS4 to solve all of my storage issues. This is the Nyko Data Bank, a $30 accessory that allows you to adapt a 3.5-inch hard drive and be able to plug it into your PlayStation 4 so you could have more storage. Now, why did I buy this and a 3.5-inch hard drive rather than a 4 terabyte, 2.5-inch hard drive, you know, skip the whole adapter, just plug it straight in? Well, it turns out back in 2017, 4 terabyte, 2.5-inch hard drives didn't exist, or they were so prohibitively expensive that it wouldn't have been feasible. And yeah, I know I could have gotten an external hard drive for the PS4, plugged it into the USB port, and swapped stuff out off the internal drive. But the thing is that hard drives are so frustratingly slow. And I play so many games at the same time, and with how big game install sizes have gotten, that I would have been constantly swapping out games, and it would have been a big pain in the ass to try to put something on an external hard drive and then pull something off of it whenever I want to play something. Like, you know you fuck up real bad when it's faster to download something from the internet than it is to download it from my local copy. But I'm here to tell you, don't make the same mistake I did buying this thing if you were hoping to increase the storage capacity on your PS4. But I repeat, do not buy the Nyko Data Bank or any other similar accessory, because it's gonna cause you a lot of fucking problems. Listen, I've used a lot of video game accessories compared to the average person. I haven't used all of them, obviously, but in my personal experience, this is the worst fucking video game accessory I have ever used. So what are you actually paying $30 for when you buy this thing? Well, it turns out that this basically is just an over-glorified SATA extension cable. Obviously it's got a power lead out here for supporting a 3.5-inch hard drive. And, you know, I'll give it this. It's got, you know, a nice, you know, piece of plastic housing around that to hold the drive in. And there's like a little LED in here, but it's just an over-glorified SATA extension cable that you can get for fucking nothing. Well, Power Man, that surely does sound like a ripoff, but if it's just a SATA extension cable, you know, shouldn't it be simple and not have any problems? You know, what's the big deal here? Well, let's just say a lot can go wrong. First of all, I'm gonna complain about the actual build quality of this thing. And it all starts with this little black piece here. And so what you do is you take off the top side of the original PlayStation 4, you take out the hard drive, and then you put this little black piece in. And all that this does is to take the SATA connector that is inside the metal housing of the PS4 and get it outside of there. Again, it is just another SATA extension cable in a fancy piece of plastic. Then you take this replacement piece, slot it on to the PS4, and then plug a SATA extension cable into the newly exposed SATA slot. Once you get all this done, after you get it set up, then you can put your hard drive in. Now, all of those components, from the 3.5-inch drive connecting to SATA, and then that SATA cable connecting to the external SATA connector, and then that black piece connecting to the internal SATA of the PS4. Every single one of those pieces feels incredibly loose, and it never feels like I ever have a solid connection to anything. And because there's so many more links in the chain compared to the stock PS4 configuration, that if you're having data problems and you're trying to diagnose it, that it's much harder to figure out what thing isn't properly connected because everything's fucking loose. And you know what? Even if you can get it to work, you can install the PS4 OS on it and you can download games and stuff. It is so unreliable in the performance that it gives that it is pretty much unusable for the average user. For example, I've had multiple situations where I had to power cycle the PS4 and unplug and replug certain things in order to get the drive to work. And using a 3.5-inch hard drive crashes the PlayStation 4 so often. I can't believe that Nyko or other companies making similar peripherals are advertising this for a normal user that wants to have a hassle-free experience. Like, it's ridiculous how much of a pain in the ass this is. Oh, you're just trying to use the PS4 menu? Well, it'll get hung up and stuck regularly, and you hope and pray to God that there's not a crash, which will eventually happen, by the way. And good luck if you're trying to play something like Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake off of a hard drive using this accessory, because I think they are really intensive on the hard drive specifically. And because of that, you're gonna get stutters, you're gonna get glitches, you're gonna get the game bugging out, and you're gonna get tons of severe crashes, okay? Bethesda bugs have fucking nothing on this accessory with a hard drive in it running Final Fantasy 15. But I can't entirely blame Nyko or these other manufacturers for these problems, right? Because if it's just a glorified SATA extension cable, in theory, it should just work. But the problem is that the PlayStation 4 is not designed to work with a 3.5-inch hard drive. Console games are programmed to the metal, to the same base standard. And so when developers are making a game for the PlayStation 4, they expect everybody to have a 2.5-inch hard drive. And that means having the same physical disk platter size so they could know how fast the read head can move when accessing certain sets of data. But the problem is that a 3.5-inch drive is just physically bigger, so it's not possible to translate the kinds of data reading decisions on a 2.5-inch drive that would be fine onto a 3.5-inch drive without severe performance penalties or longevity concerns. But I'm mad at Nyko and all these other companies because they should know better. They should know that putting a 3.5-inch drive in a system that is programmed to the metal for 2.5-inch drives is gonna cause problems, and that putting out this accessory would cause tons of data loss, but they didn't fucking care. And by the way, if you expect to use a hard drive with this thing, don't expect it to last more than a year and a half, because I've had 2 drives die because of this thing. Okay, you see this, right? This is my PlayStation 3 Slim I bought back in 2012, brand new, and it still has the original hard drive with it. And I've been using this thing for 8 years, and during this PS3's heyday, I was using it about as much as when I did the PS4 with the Nyko data bank. This hard drive is still working. This thing killed 2 hard drives in the span of 2 years. So I don't want to hear anything about, well, you were playing it too much, that's why you killed the hard drive. Now look, normally I would be thorough and capture all the stuff that I'm talking about, all these problems, but considering all the bullshit I've gone through with this fucking adapter over the years, I don't want to have to sacrifice another hard drive just to show you guys all my problems. So just take my word for it. So in conclusion then, this thing is a fucking piece of shit, and any other company who copied this should be ashamed of themselves for endangering the valuable save data of anybody who didn't have PlayStation Plus by putting all their data onto drives using these stupid things. And screw Sony and Microsoft for being so cheap, for not including enough storage in the first place, that the market for these things even exists in the first place. So anyways, guys, that's it, and have a good day.